ये जो टॉपिक है ये बेसिकली आपके मेंस में आंसर राइटिंग फ्रेम करने में हेल्प कर सकता है, ठीक है। एंड इसमें से कुछ ऐसे कीवर्ड्स होंगे जो कि प्रीलिम्स के लिए भी काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं। सो रेप सीड मस्टर्ड ऑयल, हेयर आफ्टर मस्टर्ड ऑयल इज़ द थर्ड largest edible consumed in India. Two executive and judicial decisions on mustard oil, one from 2021 and another from 2024, have major public health implications but have already received the public attention and scrutiny they deserve. क्या हेल्थ इम्प्लिकेशंस पड़ सकते हैं यूरिक एसिड के पर्सपेक्टिव में? सबसे पहले तो ये कि मस्टर्ड ऑयल में, अब ये इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस देखे जाते हैं कि मस्टर्ड ऑयल कंटेन्स प्रोटीन्स और नॉट, या प्रोटीन रिच कौन सा सीड क्रॉप है, या ये पूछा जा सकता है कि यूरिक एसिड किन में पाया जाता है, मस्टर्ड में पाया जाता है, रेप सीड में पाया जाता है, या कॉटन सीड में पाया जाता है। जितने भी ऑयल सीड्स हैं उनमें से ये ऑप्शंस दे सकता है यूपीएससी, तो आप इसको देख सकते हैं। द मस्टर्ड ऑयल एक्सट्रैक्टेड फ्रॉम द इंडियन मस्टर्ड क्रॉप कंटेन्स हाई लेवल्स ऑफ यूनिक फैटी एसिड called the uric acid, 40% to 54% of the total fatty acid. This is significantly higher than the international accepted level of less than 5%. The mustard oil containing uric acid is considered undesirable for human consumption, particularly in advanced countries as the US, Canada, and Europe. Lab experiments demonstrated that animals fed with higher uric acid containing mustard oil suffered from heart diseases, retarded growth, premature tissue death, and adverse changes to liver, kidney, skeletal muscle, and adrenal gland. There is no conclusive evidence similar to the health impacts on humans. In those countries, uric acid content of mustard oil is strictly controlled by using canola oil for culinary purposes. Canola crop oil developed by Canada contains less than 2% uric acid content. Edible oil blending. Due to unfavorable climate conditions, India has not succeeded in developing high yielding canola quality mustard crop. The easiest way to reduce the high uric acid content in the mustard oil is to blend it with other edible oils. Several scientific studies have proved that the lower presence of uric acid in blended mustard oil. Also, since blended mustard oil is rich in unsaturated fatty acid, consuming it lowers LDL cholesterol and increases HDL cholesterol. So these are the varieties of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. You may figure it out making some notes over it. Blending is adulteration with artificial flavors and poisonous substances, so this is a matter of concern as well. GM mustard. Alternatively, the unique uric acid content in Indian mustard oil can be reduced by cultivating the indigenous GM mustard क्रॉप DMH11। ये वैरायटी आप देख लीजिएगा कि कौन सी वैरायटी से यूरिक एसिड रिड्यूस हो सकता है, ठीक है। विच पार्ट from the higher yield has a lower uric acid content 30 to 35% as compared to the traditional Indian mustard crops. As a result, oil extracted from DMH11 requires a lower quantity of other edible oils for blending to reduce uric acid content. This in turn helps reduce the imports of other edible oils. India is the world's largest importer of edible oil. Its edible oil import bill is pegged at $20.56 billion by the नीति आयोग। तो ये इम्पोर्टर है एडिबल ऑयल्स का सबसे लार्जेस्ट, ठीक है, तो ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है। ये स्टेटमेंट्स दे सकते हैं कि इंडिया लार्जेस्ट इम्पोर्टर है यानी विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स इज़ करेक्ट। इस तरीके से ऑप्शन दे सकते हैं, 2 and 3 करेक्ट है, 1, 2 and 3 करेक्ट है। तो इस तरीके से स्टेटमेंट वाइज क्वेश्चंस में ये आ सकता है। देयरफॉर यूरिक एसिड reducing property of DMH11 and associated health and economic benefits in terms reduce the edible oil imports and need to be factored in all by stakeholders while deciding on the approval of the GM mustard crop. Next we move on to building integrated photovoltaics, converting buildings into solar assets. इसकी इम्पोर्टेंस होल्ड ऐसे करती है कि वी नो कि एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन हो रहा है फ्रॉम फ्रॉम कोल बेस्ड, दैट इज़ द फॉसिल फ्यूल बेस्ड, टू सस्टेनेबल फॉर्म, मोर सस्टेनेबल एंड क्लीनर फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी, ग्रीन एनर्जी के रूप में ट्रांजिशन हो रहा है। इसमें जो सोलर पैनल्स है, सोलर एसेट्स है, उनका रोल क्या हो सकता है वो बताया गया है। सम स्कीम्स के बारे में बताया गया है, क्या इम्प्लीमेंटेशन स्ट्रैटेजीज़ के बारे में बताया गया है। सो दिस कैन बी हेल्पफुल फॉर योर मेंस आंसर राइटिंग एज वेल। आप इसे थोड़ा सा अपने हिसाब से कंसेप्चुअली कन्वर्ट भी कर सकते हैं अपने नोट्स में। With an installed capacity of over 17 gigawatts as of April 30, rooftop solar RTS is starting to play a significant role in India's renewable energy transition, especially in urban areas. However, its scalability is constrained by the limited availability of shadow-free rooftop spaces. Boosting solar adoption in densely populated cities therefore requires us to look beyond the traditional rooftop mounted solar systems and towards building integrated photovoltaics. So this is BIPV. What is BIPV? BIPV can turn entire buildings into power generators by integrating solar elements directly into the architectural elements. इसका पर्पस क्या है? जनरेटिंग इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड वर्किंग एज अ स्ट्रक्चरल पार्ट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग। अनलाइक RTS system which are added to rooftops, BIPV systems are embedded into the building's architectural fabric like facades, the front exterior of a building, roofs, windows and railings. They replace conventional construction materials such as glass, tiles and cladding with solar alternatives. So इसमें ये सिमिलरली बताया जा रहा है कि जो ग्लास हो गया, टाइल्स हो गया, उसको कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं सोलर ऑल्टरनेटिव्स में। सो ये पूरा जो सिस्टम है ये BIPV में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा एंड दिस कैन बी ट्रांजिटेड टू अ पावर जनरेशन हब। अब इसे इनकॉर्पोरेट कैसे कर सकते हैं? सो ट्रेडिशनल रूफिंग मटेरियल्स कैन बी रिप्लेस्ड विद BIPV पैनल्स allowing power generation without altering the building structures. Windows and skylights can also feature transparent or semi-transparent BIPV panels that allow natural light to enter while producing clean energy. Even the balconies, canopies, atriums and shading devices can be designed to house solar elements utilizing structural features for energy generations without occupying additional space. BIPV can be used in residential apartments and commercial buildings as well as in public infrastructure such as railway stations, airports and educational institutions. The transparency, colors, sizes and spaces can also be customized to suit the particular aesthetic requirements. The need for BIPVs stem from space constraints and the pressing obligation to pursue sustainable urban development. So main जो outlook है वो sustainable urban development ही है. In the high-rise buildings of India's populous cities, Rooftop space is often insufficient to install RTA systems. Since BIPV can be integrated into various parts of the building's envelope, it can use available surfaces more efficiently. For example, a 16-story building with 4,000 square feet rooftop and 15,000 square feet of facade area on each side can support an RTS system of only about 40 kilowatt peak. But BIPV panels on just south facing facade could produce 150 kilowatt power. What is the status of the BIPVs in India? So, the prices and the growing interest in sustainable and energy efficient architect is allowing BIPVs to gain momentum. India has some impressive BIPV installations. The CTRLS data centers building in Navi Mumbai has an 863 kilowatt power systems on its 4 facades. Renewable Energy Museum in Kolkata, inaugurated in 2024. The Jindal Steel and Power Limited facility in Angul. So these are some examples जहाँ पर ये BIPV इंस्टॉल किया गया है. They have also been incorporated into the railway stations in Vijayawada and Sahibabad. How can BIPV uptake be scaled up? BIPV adoption in India has a limited high initial cost, policy gaps, inadequate technical capacity, and reliance on imports. Low awareness, lack of dedicated incentives, and absence of clear standards also push BIPV out of the building design considerations. India could look at the expanding existing solar schemes to offer incentives for BIPV, especially in space constrained urban areas. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy issued operational guidelines for PM सूर्य घर मुफ्त बिजली योजना. ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है और ये इस बार 2025 में पूछा भी गया था. Scheme to install RTS system in 1 crore households. सो आप ये इस स्कीम के ऊपर PM सूर्य घर मुफ्त बिजली योजना, इसके ऊपर आप प्लीज़ स्टैटिक नोट्स बना लीजिएगा, थोड़ा सा रिसर्च कर लीजिएगा और कंसेप्चुअल बेसिस पे जो PYQs है उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आप नोट्स बनाइएगा. द गाइडलाइंस इंक्लूडेड इन BIPV इन द स्कीम अलाउिंग कंज्यूमर्स टू ऑप्ट फॉर इट इन केस ऑफ लिमिटेड रूफटॉप स्पेस. द BIPV installations in a residential segment qualify for a subsidy to again available for RTS systems up to rupees 78,000 for a 3 kilowatt solar systems. Likewise, Europe's energy performance on buildings directives mandates the increased use of technologies in all the buildings and encourages innovative solutions like BIPV through clear regulatory guidance and minimum performance standards. India too can consider embedding BIPV provisions in its National Building Code, Energy Conservation Building and Eco Nivas Samhita. Demonstrating BIPV through pilot projects in public infrastructure can improve visibility and catalyze wider acceptance. Also, boosting indigenous manufacturing through production-linked incentives, schemes and targeted R&D alongside awareness programs for architectures, planners and building developers will further strengthen the ecosystem. So, ये जो है ये स्टेप्स हैं कि आप इसको BIPV को इन्हांस करने के लिए क्या कर सकते हो. सो ये मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव से ये स्टेप्स जो हैं इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये वे फॉरवर्ड है. Financial arrangements such as renewable energy service companies, model and long-term power purchase agreements can help enhance project reliability and enable large-scale BIPV deployment. Since India can't rely solely on ground mounted and rooftop systems to meet its goal to install 3 gigawatt of solar capacity by 2030, land neutral solutions like BIPV need to be prioritized. The potential of BIPV for India existing building stock is estimated to be 309 gigawatt, nearly 70% of the urban infrastructure needed for India to become a developed country by 2047 is yet to be built. The underscores, while this underscores the immense potential of BIPV to accelerate nation's clean energy transition, actualizing its demand to robust policy support, design, innovation, and strong market push.